Way to go. What's up, Canes fam? We are live for the Chalupa and Friends halftime live stream. Joining me on today's show, my first guest from Locked On Canes and a colleague of mine at All Hurricanes, Alex Donno, the legend himself. How's it going, Donno?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I figured this was going to be a close game. That's the way it's playing out here. Miami up 17-14, just had an Andy Borregales short field goal to give the Canes a lead, but we know North Carolina, their offense is not going to go away. So, this is I predicted a 3-point Miami win, Chalupa. They've got 30 more minutes here to prove me right, or win by even more than 3. I would welcome that.
So I had us with a close game too. Like when we did our predictions for our Hurricanes, it actually, like, I was sitting on the couch just like vexed that night because I kept going back and forth. Like I knew it'd be a close one, and I was thinking it's going to be a 3-point game, or maybe a 7-point game. But I had us coming out on top because I actually thought kind of how the game plan started in the first quarter. I thought we'd pound the rock, and I figured the game plan would be just keep the ball away from Drake May as much as possible. And it looks like that started to be the strategy, but then it seems like Dawson really kind of opened it up a little bit. Has there been anything that's been shocking to you in the first half, like either offensively or defensively, that we've done, or has this played out kind of how you thought it would?
It's played out how I thought we would. I will say though that I didn't expect the defense to be this much in Drake May's grill. I mean, they had I've got the official stats. I know they had at least 4 sacks in the first half. I can pull up the exact defensive stats because I knew they'd be able to bring pressure. I didn't know they'd bring quite this much. Yeah, they've got 4 sacks and 5 TFL already, Miami, which is pretty impressive, which is exactly what you need. And then game plan wise, the offense hasn't really surprised me. I've been pleased with the balance, but I will say, and I know you're going to talk about it, so I'm going to beat you to the punch on this one. That throw that Tyler Van Dyke made to Jacoby George while getting drilled right in his midsection. I'm guessing he must have gotten the wind knocked out of him, and he threw a dime. And for a couple seconds there, like that ball, I thought for a couple seconds Jacoby wouldn't be able to track it, that it might be like an overthrow by half a yard. That dude is so fast. Like, that was unbelievable, right? Like, I know that with all the pregame hype, those are the sorts of throws people thought May would have 3 or 4 of those by now, right? Because Tyler Van Dyke was not getting a whole lot of credit coming into this game. That was the single best play of this game so far, at least offensively, was Tyler Van Dyke to Jacoby George. I don't know about you, Chalupa, but I was like jumping off my couch screaming.
I went super
crazy.
On that note, I've got to bring in my second guest, someone who before the season actually told me over and over, he said Jacoby is going to be the best receiver on the field this year. He stamped his name on it, and if Stevo stamped his name on a player, you know it's real. Representing 365 Canes football, my guy, Stevo. What's up, bro?
What's going on, buddy?
How's the first half going, bro? How's it on your end? How's this first half been breaking down for you? Is it how you expected it to be, or are you surprised by a few things?
No, it's exactly how I expected it to be. I think North Carolina's soft. We are manhandling them at the line of scrimmage, at defensive line and offensive line. Ruben Bain is a teenager still, and he is manhandling them. So, this is exactly how I thought it would go. We can't lose the football on the 1-yard line. That's the difference of this game right now. We should be up. This should be a 2-possession game right now, us up 10 points. I like the decision, AJ Allen. Don't catch that ball so we could try to take one more shot at the end zone. But I'm not surprised the 954 Canes and 2 of the ones that get trained with Gold Feet over here in Broward County are exploding our offense. And the craziest thing is we've been running this. They scored on the out and up concepts. We've ran that 6 times already before actually. Yeah, little low key. We ran it 5 times. And then tonight we ran it 2 different ways. And every time we've run it, it's been super successful. So I did a review on that. We're doing air raid concepts and different formations. It's been sexy. I love it. TBD, I heard you guys, we're talking about standing in, that's respect. You standing there, and Jacoby going to track that ball at any time. That ball in the air, it don't matter. You could time him for 40, whatever, throw the ball and see how fast he run. It's up there.
That's been something that I didn't really expect in this game. Like, I expected a ground and pound, slow the game down, Are y'all at all surprised with how much Dawson has started to air it out, especially after the first quarter?
No, I think they have to. We know obviously this team is always going to try to fall back to the bread and butter, running the football when you can. We also now we have a few ball security concerns, right? I mean, no matter what we thought about Don Chaney, whether that was a fumble or not last week, he did still lose the ball, so there was a ball security issue. Stevo referenced Henry Parrish fumbled inside the 1 yard line. So Miami really should have at least one more touchdown on the board right now. And then, I think we saw pretty clearly because A.J. Allen got blown up once in pass protection.
Oh,
I think
that's
one of the reasons, because people always ask me, why is he not on the field more? Why is he, Chris Johnson, why are they not on the field more? I think pass pro has a lot to do with it. So when you've got ball security questions from some running backs, pass protection questions from others, and you've got a defense that clearly is vulnerable down the field and a quarterback who can sling it. I think Dawson's calling a very good game so far, much better than last week.
What do you think, Steve-O?
Oh yeah, no, I love the game plan. When the game plan is to win on the perimeter, it's always my favorite type of week. But it's clear as day that they cannot run with our receivers. Kobe Young is making them miss in the open field, and that's not even his forte.
Yeah,
the UNC defensive backs just look slow. They're slow getting out of breaks. When Jacoby made that crazy catch, he did all that time, went all the way. It's slow motion. You still don't see the North Carolina. They were in man coverage. Where were you, bro? They are struggling right now covering us, and I think we'll continue to lean on the run game. I'm expecting something to a tight end in the second half because McCormick has been getting out in front of every single thing. It's time we fake that screen and hit him down up top. Him or Riley Williams, whatever one. But every time we throw a screen to Kobe Young or Isaiah Horton with the big screen, and he also had the big catch on the 4th down coming across. He makes the most important.
That was
catch.
Great too.
If Isaiah Horton touches the ball, just like Texas A&M, the momentum just comes our way. So we need to get him more involved. Super happy with that, but I would love to see maybe a tight end sneak up the field on a fake block.
That's one thing that I'd say has been missing from the offense is just the ability to attack up the seams in the middle. We really haven't had or seen that from Dawson's game this year. That could be something that we'll see develop the more Arroyo gets healthy and gets more snaps. But defensively, I really like this game plan. The pressure that we've applied on Drake May, Ruben Bain, like Steve-O said when he came on, he looks unblockable right now. The only thing is just on a couple plays, we got to make sure we keep containment. We cannot allow Drake May to pick up just those annoying 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6s where we want to get them off the field. Other than that, defensively, I'm really enjoying how they've shown on. What have you guys seen from the defense in the first half?
Well, first of all, both teams can say this at halftime, missed opportunities. And one of Miami's missed opportunities was you nearly had an interception that would have given you the ball in the red zone immediately. With James Williams.
If James doesn't tip that, I fell in my chair. I was like, James.
Corey Couch was standing right there. It might have been a pick six because he had bodies in front of him.
It was DP too. But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think about the defense so far in the first half, Steve-O?
That I was literally going to say that was a missed opportunity. That was Kane on Kane crime. Obviously, James doesn't know. He's breaking on the football. He's breaking down, so he doesn't know. But Drake May just threw one up for grabs there. That's what I've seen on tape for him. He gets rattled and he'll throw for grabs. So I'm expecting us to come down with that interception. Obviously, we touched on the fumble, but missed opportunities. I gotta say. We should have received the ball 1 or 2 more times. But we had costly, boneheaded penalties. So you can't have that, honestly. You really can't. So that's got to be my main one right now because we could have got the ball back several times and we let them on the field with some penalties. So that's probably my biggest one.
Oh, yeah, and another one was the strip sack by Bain. The ball's literally in the end zone. North Carolina player recovers, and somehow – they only lose 1 yard on that play, which is crazy. It's like that could have if a Miami player, if either they had hit May like a yard deeper, it would have been a safety, or if a Miami player gets on that ball, it's a touchdown.
And I feel like all year it's been like that for us with turnovers, where Corey Couch did have the game where he had the 2 INTs, but it felt like all year with sacks and turnovers, we're just almost there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like our pressure versus sack ratio is way off because we've got like I feel like Nigel Kelly probably should have 3 or 4 sacks so far this year. Ruben Bain should probably have about 7. I feel like we're just a split second late. And then on INTs, it's just little things. Like Steve-O said, James is doing his job breaking on that football. He's not, he doesn't see Daryl Porter there, but you can see DP2, like as he went up, hands up, eyes this big. And then when he saw James, his hands went from catching the ball to putting him on his head because he knew what happened. But I feel like that's what happens when you play aggressive and you run to the football. Eventually, those things will turn into sacks. They will turn into turnovers. If they continue to play aggressive like this, I feel like eventually later in the season, we are going to see more turnovers.
Here's the only thing that I don't really like, and I can't complain too much about Miami's defense, especially knowing the offense they're up against, but giving up 113 rushing yards at the half, and not all of that was May. Amari and Hampton, he started to make some big time runs at the end of that first half. And North Carolina, again, like I agree with Steve-O, Miami has, by and large, they've won the trench battles on both sides, but UNC had a few of those plays. We've seen some of those from Miami where the entire O-line is pushing the pile forward and getting
I hate
yards
those
for their running back. It's like, I love it when it's done by your team. When it's done by the other team, it's like, I don't like so much.
Yeah, facts. And when they caught us in there, when they caught us with tempo, and then they were running it, and they kept that entire group on the field, and like that touchdown drive, that was probably the one we're referring to because they were pushing. I thought that ref was going to blow the whistle, and they just kept it going and pushing. So it is what it is. But I like the way that we're handling it. But 113 that comes on. You can't let big reverses pop. You can't lose containment on a reverse. That's too easy just to get to the edge. Things like that. They had a pop pass or whatever. I guess that's not a rush, but like we let too much like little misdirections get to the edge. And I like the way we have our concepts where sometimes I hate it when it's the DN, but we drop a linebacker or the DN under, to the corner, and then you have DP or our other corner over the top sitting. And it's allowing the quick passing game. I think that's also why our sacks numbers aren't up all the time, because sometimes we're giving up a lot. As a defense, you're giving something up every play. Sometimes we do give up that quick pass just because of how good our corners and safeties are at coming up and just negating any type of free space and just tackling for, minimal gain. We've seen that with Daryl Porter, James Williams, Cam Kitchens, Jaden Davis. Every starting defensive back to Corey Couch has closed on people in space that's made those plays. So that's why kind of the sack numbers are up, because the quarterback has a get-ready option, but our defense is coming up and making that tackle.
And that may be why he leaned on the corners he did. Because I know in the offseason, we're all trying to figure out, is it going to be Brown? Is it going to be – but then we saw Jaden Davis and Daryl Porter, and I think why is exactly what Steve-O just answered or just explained, is we've seen from both of them the sure tackling in the open field. I mean, Jaden Davis is just an absolute dog. Like, he has the heart of a lion, literally. And I think Daryl Porter Jr. has been criminally underrated this year. Yeah. I think he's flown under the radar on this defense because he's not being tried. But to me, that's the sign that a corner's doing his job. So one thing I like to do is I like to assign coordinators to the guests. So coming out of this half, what adjustments would you make if you're the coordinator? Steve-O, I'll give you the offense. You're going to be our Dawson. Donno, you'll be our Lance Guidry. What changes would you make coming out of the second half against North Carolina?
The first change I'm making is mixing up our run game. We need to get back to the edge. We haven't. I feel like we've gotten way too accustomed with the inside zone. And before I down it, it's not like years past. Our interior lineman is Matt Lee, Cohen, and Nez Cooper, arguably 3 of the top 5 players on our team. So I get running up the middle. Like I honestly get it. But where's the pop pass to Bashard or Ray, or where's the quick pitch? Where's the outside zone? Where's the stretch? Let me get something. Where's the stretch play where Nez Cooper is pulling, and we were running that all year? I haven't seen that tonight. I kind of, if that was my adjustment, I think he's calling a phenomenal game in the passing game. I think we need to mix up the diversity on the running game a little bit. I think it's gotten a little too predictable inside. I know our offensive line is getting that push, and that's kind of our strength of the offensive line. But also our guys can move. So if we get those guys, Nez Cooper on the move, Jalen Rivers on the move, start getting these guys to the edge in the running game, that would be my way to mix it up if I was OC.
I like that. All right, Coach Guidry, what you got for the defense?
If I'm Coach Guidry, the first adjustment I make is I need to not get too amped up. I'm running out on the field, getting a 15-yard flag. Like, coach, keep your adrenaline down a little bit.
My first adjustment is me.
Yeah, I don't know if I changed too much though. Keep the pressure on. And listen, I know how good Drake May is. I've seen how dynamic he is time and time again. I watch ACC teams more than I watch any other conference. And if you don't contain him and pressure him, he's going to hurt you with his legs. I know he's got a couple of big downfield throws left in him, and Tez Walker has been really good, which I knew the timing would be perfect, right? He got his feet wet a little bit against Syracuse, had 6 grabs. He's actually, looking like a preseason all ACC selection, which he was in this game. So you have to keep the pressure on, man, because I haven't seen May look as uncomfortable as he was in that first half all season long, because North Carolina's matchups defensively, it's been all easy street with their opponents so far. Keep hitting that dude, keep doing what you're doing, and I think eventually he's going to throw a pick.
Yeah,
I agree. I like applying pressure to him, man, especially up the middle. I mean, it like Stevo said when he came on, it really looks like they don't really have an answer for Ruben Bain. Just one-on-one.
Nobody does.
I don't think they have an answer for him.
No, they don't. And their running backs have had the same type of whiffs that our running backs had, because that one where May gets hit, the running back's the one who picked up the ball because he didn't block Ruben Bain.
He missed the block.
Yeah, so
right.
That's why he was able to recover it and then, make the most of it, because, his hands were free. He wasn't doing nothing. So
that's always a telltale sign. The offensive lineman that picks up the quarterback after a sack, that's the one that whiffed. That's why you're close, and that's why you're here to pick me up. Because
that was just a bringing four type of pressure. So if we can continue to do so, I think the picks will come. Shout out to Corey Flagg getting under that damn slant, playing in space. So I like the pressure. But when the pressure gets there, that's when we could drop back, and we dropped back with Flagg, and he was able to jump underneath the slant. So I would, like Coach said, I wouldn't really change much with the defense. I just calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured they'd come out energetic though. Like I figured, I was like, early, we're probably gonna get a personal foul or something, because I'm gonna guess this team was pissed off. So I felt like they would come out really energetic.
Well, and North Carolina, they're the ones. I'm sure that their fans feel pretty hard done by the referees.
They've got a ton of penalties.
9 penalties for 97 yards. I mean, they basically given Miami a full 100-yard drive down the field.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's been a bit of a sloppy game penalty wise on both sides. We've had our idiotic penalties, and so have they. It's been kind of sloppy on both sides. I feel like whatever defense can make a crucial stop, and whatever team cannot make these little knick-knack, ticky-tack penalties, that last score is probably on that penalty from Guidry. We don't make that. They're kicking a field goal there. It is what it is.
Fourth down, yeah, that hurt.
That's painful. So for you guys, before we get out of here and get back to this second half, if you had to pick an impact player, either on offense or defense, that's going to help seal this game for the Canes and bring home the win, who would it be?
I think I'm going to go with a guy we've been talking about a lot so far, and rightfully so, and that's Ruben Bain. I think, again, I'm looking at that defensive line of Miami wreaking havoc. Let me pull up Bain's stats so far. He's got a TFL and the strip sack so far. Keep up the pressure. They're having to double team him. They've held him. They actually called the holding on him, which felt like a miracle. I'm going to go with Bain.
Who you got, Stevo?
Yeah, I want to go with the obvious with TVD, but I'm keeping it with my 954 Canes. I'm going X because he's already had 3 third-down conversions tonight. 1 big boy catch over the middle, ducking and getting it for first down. So I think he's going to move the chains for us the rest of the night. TVD's locked in, and when he's locked in, he's usually going to his most reliable target. And I do not fault you for going with the other 954 Cane in our receiving group and Jacoby George.
Now, Kobe is there tonight, by the way, to answer that comment. Kobe
he
did
made
have
a play.
He made a great play, and it was all effort on that play too. Yeah. I'm going to go with Don Chaney because I feel like we get another 6 here. We get up by 10. I feel like then you put it on the hammer. You bring in 2. You slow this thing down in the fourth quarter. You keep 10 on the sideline, and you punish them up the middle. I feel like Don Chaney, a guy like that, is going to be crucial in us sealing this victory, which would be incredibly poetic, right? It would come full circle from last week. But you get a lead on a team like this, as aggressive as we love Shannon Dawson to be, sometimes the answer is just step on their necks by keeping them off the field. So I think a guy like Don Chaney, who in the fourth quarter, tired defenses do not want to hit that guy. So I think handing him the rock, getting him 10 or more carries in the fourth quarter is going to be huge. All right, guys, second half is about to start. Thank you to both of my guests, Alex Donno from Locked On Canes, Stevo from 365 Canes. I've put all of their information in the description, their Twitter links and their YouTube. Go follow them, like, share, and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much. And go Canes, man. Let's get this dub. We out.